All right, welcome to episode 10 of the Fast, Easy Success Marketing Insider podcast.
The Fast, Easy Success Marketing Insider, the uncut, uncensored podcast, bringing you the refreshing, no fluff, no BS views in business, sales, and marketing you desire. Your host, author, marketing strategist, direct response copywriter, and serial entrepreneur, Eric Barton, the results specialist. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, action.
I want to thank everyone for tuning in to the Fast, Easy Success Marketing Insider. A lot of exciting things coming today and in the future for you. So just make sure you hit that subscription button right now so you don't miss out on the value-packed podcast coming your way as well. And before we dive into our show and our very special guest today, I just want to welcome everyone to head over to FastEasySuccess.com. Go ahead and grab your business building tips sent directly to your email daily. And when you head over to FastEasySuccess.com, I'm also giving you your free business cheat sheets. These are going to help you with your websites, emails, and writing. All right, let's dive in because I'm excited to have this special guest coming on the show today. And if you haven't discovered this man yet, you're definitely in for a treat today. He's a direct response copywriter who actually specializes in building very profitable sales funnels for clients. You may have even heard this man referred to as the sales funnel specialist and really the world's #1 most trusted sales funnel authority. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us today, I want to welcome to the show Jeremy Reeves. Jeremy, thanks so much for taking the time to jam with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I gotta say, I'm really, really excited. I used to get a little nervous getting interviewed, but I'm actually very, very, very pumped, to be talking today.
Beautiful, beautiful. That's what I like to hear, and I'm sure the audience is definitely, they got their ticket to this profitable thrill ride and ready to jump in. So let's just ask real quick for the people not familiar with you. Can you originally, tell people how you maybe started out in the sales, marketing, or copywriting world, or how you really got involved?
Yeah. So one thing I want to say, just as everybody's listening at the beginning of the interview, I've listened to a lot of interviews. I've listened to a whole bunch of podcasts and all that kind of stuff. Right. And personally, I have never been a huge fan of interviews because a lot of people take too long to tell their stories and don't really give a lot of good advice. Just kind of in general. So right. I kind of want to throw out there that I am really going to give out a lot of really, really, really good content. It's not going to be all about me. I'll give you my quick little story here in about for about 30 seconds. But then I like to jump in and just kind of I like to demonstrate my authority by demonstrating that I actually know what I'm talking about. Instead of telling my story. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there in the beginning. I like to do unique interviews.
Nice.
As my for my short little blurb here, I got started as a direct response copywriter, writing sales copy for clients, and right at the beginning of my career with that, which was about roughly 7 years ago, something like that, 6-7 years ago, I realized that writing, understanding the dynamics of writing copy and being able to sell on paper and all that kind of good stuff really doesn't do much if the strategy behind the copy isn't right. So I really started focusing a lot on the marketing strategy and then how to write the copy to fit that strategy. Because if you you can have if you have bad strategy but great copy, it'll do okay. But if you have incredible strategy and okay copy, it can still do fantastic. Because the strategy, it really compels it. And then when you add the really good hard hitting copy on top of it, that's when things really take off. So I really started focusing on the marketing strategy behind the copy, and then that led me down through working with all kinds of different clients. A lot of the industry leaders that you're probably familiar with. It really made me specialize and focus on building sales funnels, because I realized a lot of the challenges that people deal with have to do with not having systems in place, and not having basically not being able to buy paid traffic, which is one thing I really, really focus on. And when you have an automated sales funnel in place, you can pretty much look at your sales funnel as a whole and see like, okay, I got 1,000 people that hit the first part of the sales funnel, and by the time they got to the end, I made X dollars. So you know what each person is worth. Or your earnings per visitor, that kind of thing. And then that way you know what you could pay for traffic. So if your average earnings per visitor for each person that you send, just say to a landing page, for example, is the first part of the funnel, if that's $5, then you can pay, $2, $3, $4, whatever dollars, whatever you want to keep your margin at, to get new people into the funnel, so it really makes your business really, really stable. And then you keep tweaking and testing and making everybody worth more money, and that's where all the fun comes in. So that's pretty much my that's my history. Basically started as a copywriter, went into strategy. I've worked with all kinds of different business owners, from internet marketers to a couple celebrities, and really like high name, high profile kind of clients, to even all the way on the other side of the coin, to people like dry cleaners and hairdressers and people like that. So pretty big gamut of people that I've worked with.
Right. That's same here. I've worked with a lot of online guys, but a lot of offline, anywhere from large to the small businesses. And one thing I kind of wanted to ask, and it's been kind of on the theme of the show, I've been asking in the beginning, because I think if they set this up in the beginning, this can help. And this kind of goes in with what you were talking about, the paid traffic. But really what I'm referring to is the unsexy sales secret that I kind of call it, which is the lead generation. And I think, unfortunately, this is a point that a lot of business owners get wrong. And a lot of people kind of mix up the lead generation with customer generation. Obviously, a lot of times they want customers instead of leads, and leads is kind of something you kind of nurture. You can grab the low-hanging fruit, obviously, but it's something you kind of got to build. Can you maybe share your thoughts, or what's your view on the lead generation part of whether they're starting a funnel or just bringing them to a sales page or a website, et cetera?
Yeah. So there's kind of a lot to go into on that. I'll just say, when I'm working with clients, I'll kind of go off of that. So, one of the things that I try to do, a lot of people talk about cost per lead and things like that. And that's good to know. It's definitely good to know, and I track that metric and all that. But there's a big difference in the quality of leads. So like let's just say you have Facebook ads, Google ads, and SEO. You're doing those three things. You might have leads that are worth, let's say your average lead on Google AdWords is worth $3. Well, it might be worth only $1 on Facebook and $6 for SEO. So like you really have to look at, okay, well, I'm getting this amount of leads from this source, but what are they worth to the business? Because everything, all the leads coming in, they all have different values.
That's a great point. I think that's what a lot of people mix up too. They think either they're getting in a lot of leads and they're like, yeah, I'm doing good, but how much is that lead actually worth? Like you just said, That's a great point.
Exactly. And then you can even dive in more. Like so for example, I have a Facebook campaign that I'm running right now. So we're tracking, we tag them as Facebook leads, and then I can track it overall and, look at it every month and say, okay, we got 1,000 leads this month and we made $3,000 from that. We spent, $1,500 or, whatever the numbers are. There's stuff but then you can also, if you want to even take it to another level, you can tag them by like the audience that you're targeting. So, for example, if you're let's just say you're in health and you're targeting men 50 plus versus, and then another group is women 30 plus, or whatever, it could be anything that you're targeting. But you can actually tag them as that and then track those specific things. So not only do you know how much your average Facebook lead is worth, but then you could also say like, okay, I have these two segments that we're targeting, and this one is worth this much. This one is worth this much. So you can get pretty crazy with the metrics. And that's pretty. I usually recommend that for people that are really advanced and trying to take it like to a completely new level, and gain just a huge competitive advantage. That particular one is more for people that are, a lot more advanced.
Okay.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a little more work. I mean, obviously it could be worth it and a lot more profitable. It is more work, and it's something that the competition isn't willing to do, which is a good thing for the people that are willing to put in the work. But I guess this can go into the testing too, though, because that's something that you're definitely known for is heavy testing. And is that maybe, do you do the simple like split, like A/B split test, or really how do you start your test, or maybe what's the best way that you start testing, or people can do that?
That's a good question. Testing is, I get extremely mad at a lot of people in the conversion rate optimization field. That was actually one thing that probably last year, actually probably it might have even been 2012. But in the last 2 years, I was really heavily involved in that. I got offered a really healthy six-figure offer by one of the biggest conversion rate optimization companies in the world, and turn that down. But I'm still really good friends with them. I just don't want a job. But it's there's a lot of there's so much I can go into here. There's a lot of things that you need to look out for when you test. So one of the things you'll hear, and I'm not going to give out any names here because I don't like to make enemies, but there are a lot of people when they say like, oh, we got an 80% increase doing this, we got a 60% increase doing that. If you look at the actual stats, and they, sometimes they'll show you, like in a video, they'll show you like a screenshot of their stats and all that. A lot of times you'll notice that the numbers are really small. So maybe they hit 95% confidence. If you're familiar with split testing, you'll know what I mean. But it's essentially even 95% chance of that test being a winner, right? But that doesn't mean that you have a 95% chance of that test winning by that percentage. So for example, let me actually just let me pull up I have a test running right now for a Facebook campaign, and it's running to a landing page. And the one call to action on there is give me my free report. So that's that's the control call to action. And then the one I'm testing it against is show me your sales funnel secrets. So that's like that's an A/B test. That they kind of get split up. And so let me go to my results, and it just became a winner this morning. So the control, which was I forget it already. I don't know. The control, which was get instant access, I think it was, is converting at 24%, and the show me your sales funnel secrets is converting at 39.68%. So this is a fairly new test. It's only been up like a day or two. So the percentage improvement is 65.34%, right? So a lot of times you'll see a lot of experts, showing that, oh, hey, I got a 65% improvement, blah, 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 and they pretend they're big, they know everything about split testing and all that. And this one, by the way, has a 98% chance to beat the original. Now,
98%? Nice.
What's that?
I said 98%?
Yeah, 98%, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so so this one is a winner, right? But what a lot of people won't tell you, and this is something that's really, really, really important to understand, is that right now it has a 65% percentage improvement, but everything always comes back to the norm, right? So even though it's a winner, as more conversion data comes in, so this is only based off, I have 43 conversions total. So as I get up to 100, 200, 300 conversions, and there's more data, that percentage of improvement is going to come down and get closer to the mean, or closer to normal, where it would be even. So basically, the thing to take away is that when people tell you, oh, we did X and it improved, we doubled our results, don't listen to the percentage that they tell you. Just get the idea. So the idea, for my example, just so you guys can test this, is test something normal that you would normally use, get instant access, get free report now, whatever it is, versus something that's a little bit more like more novel, more show me your sales funnel secrets, so it's not something they see every day. So test that, but don't look at when conversion rate experts tell you the numbers, don't really pay attention to any of that. Just pay attention to what what the strategy behind it was, and then do your own testing. So mine's 65% now. I'm going to let it run a week, and after that, it might only be 30%, or it might be 20%, or whatever. It should still be a winner. It's just that the percentage of an improvement is the one thing that basically don't get too excited about it.
Right. So how do you have any advice on how long maybe they should let a test run? Is there a certain amount of like views or clicks you should let maybe a test on average run?
Yeah, that's a good question. So it really depends. It depends on a couple factors. What I usually do is look for at least 30 conversions for each of the variations. So if you have two variations, It'd be wait until you get at least like 30 to 50 conversions on each of them, or you can there's that. So 30 conversions each. You also always want to make sure that you do it for at least a week, so it can go through, because you'll find that some days convert a lot higher than other days.
Right.
If you really dig into the data, weekends might do really bad or really good or whatever. And so that's the second thing. And then also look for any split testing software that you use. Like I use Visual Website Optimizer. Any split testing software you use is going to give you like chance to beat the original. So you always want that to be above 95%. Kind of a little bit of a caveat to that is that if you have a business and you don't have a lot of conversions, it takes you a while. It's really just a percentage game. It's just it's a chance, but it's a very high probable chance. So this one, for example, it's 98% chance to beat the original, right? So that doesn't mean that it's absolutely going to beat the original. It means that I have a 2% chance of that actually losing. You know what I mean?
Right.
So testing's not like, don't think of it as this is a definite thing. Think of it as this is the most likely scenario, So if you're testing and you don't have a lot of data and it takes you 3 months to get one test done, just go with whatever you're comfortable with. So if you get up to 90% chance to beat the original, then go with that.
Right.
Just kind of go with whatever. I usually recommend 95, but it's also you have to look at the time factor and time cost too. So that's a couple things to think about.
Okay. And do you ever let's say you have that definite winner and that Facebook button was the winner for you, the submit button? Would you challenge that to another test then, or do you say that's the winner for now and I'll let that go and I'll move on to the next thing I want to test, whether it be the headline or something else?
Yeah, that's another good question. So what I'll do is this is a winner. It has a couple days left. Whenever a week is over, if it's still a winner, then I will on the page I'll change it to the winner, and then at that point I'm trying to think. I will probably on this landing page I actually might do a little bit more of a big test. So mine's all the landing page right now is all text based. So I actually might go to all text to just the video and an opt-in form, and test something big like that. So when it comes to figuring out what to test next, I look for the things on the page that are going to make the biggest improvements. So going from all text to all video. The call to action button, believe it or not, actually can have a big, it's a big factor in conversion.
No, it is. I think a lot of people kind of even miss that one. I've changed my opt-in on my site. I've tested it all the time, and just simple changing of words can make a huge dramatic. Even to give you a perfect example with Facebook on their fan page, a client, it had something like submit my email here, and we changed it to simply give me the info, and it dramatically increased the opt-ins like that same day. We let it run, and that's what we've been using, but I mean, just simple, even the submit button, like you said, can be huge, and a lot of people kind of drop the ball on the simple stuff.
Yeah, it really can, especially if the shorter the page, the more that's going to have an effect. If you have a 15-page long sales letter, doing add to cart versus buy now probably won't make a huge difference.
Right.
But if you have just a quick little landing page, then it can make a huge difference.
Right.
And even with that, another like cool little thing to try just to get people's minds, getting creative and going a little crazy, is one of the things, and I might do this for my next test. I'm not sure. I'm kind of excited about the idea because I've never seen it done before. So you're actually getting an exclusive idea here.
Right.
But what I'm going to test now is show me your sales funnel secrets versus a big, huge call to action button that essentially has like 30 or 40 words in it.
Right.
And it's like, give me your secrets that you've invested, or that you've, got over $1 million worth of testing research under your belt. And, this is what you came up with, or just something like really, really, really long.
Oh, nice. Like a kind of like a direct response order form button, kind of like, yes, Eric, I'm ready to invest.
Yeah, something like that, but just in a button form, on a regular landing page.
Nice.
To be honest, I have no idea if it's going to work or not. It might bomb horribly. I have no idea. But I've never seen that done before. So I'm gonna test it, and I personally think that it's going to work just because it's. I mean, how do you have to read every word of that, because nobody's ever seen that before. So the novelty of it. The newness and uniqueness of it is like as soon as people hit that page, I mean, how do you not read that?
Right. That's gonna be all like a button form kind of thing where they push it.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I haven't seen that done. Yeah, definitely got to let me know how that worked out for you. That's definitely interesting.
Well, I know I'm excited.
Yeah, that's nice. I know basically what we're talking about too, like, once you're doing the testing, obviously, they've came to your page or they've opted in, and this is the thing that you, like you said too, that you really work with clients with is building their sales funnels. Mm-hmm. And if we could maybe just dive into a little bit how business owners can go out and maybe, find the holes maybe currently in their funnels, or if they're starting out, maybe how they can get that, that process at least started, to make it profitable from the jump.
Yeah. So I'll take that in two different ways. So if you're just starting up, basically what you want to do is, and this is, I'm going to try to make it as generally applicable to everybody listening. When you're just starting up, let's say that you just your order process is somebody comes on your website, they buy. And then they get like the thank you email saying, hey, your order was successful, and that's kind of it. So it's like not even really a sales funnel, but but it's a way to get money, I guess. What you want to do, and the like most basic thing that I always try to get people to do is, number one, give away some type of value added thing. It could be a free report, a video, anything that gives value to the people that you're trying to serve, to get them to essentially raise their hand, and say, hey, I'm interested in what you're selling, so that's, and then you put them onto a prospect autoresponder list. And then and the point of that is essentially to sell them your main product, whatever that is. And then after they buy your main product, you should have, trying to think of a minimum here. I would say probably at least two other either products or services. And one thing is I always try to tell people, if you're a service business, make sure you have products, and if you're a product business, make sure you have services, because it's really the only way to maximize your funnel and really find those hyper buyers in your list that are going to essentially pay you for anything that you come out with,
Yeah, that's a great point. Can I ask kind of on the sidetrack, but related there, do you find that a lot of clients come to you from your products that you released, or the vice versa, they become your clients and then go after your products?
Both, actually. I've had a lot of a pretty huge percentage of clients they'll buy a product, and then they buy a product, and then I hear from them 3 days later. And sure. It's usually along the lines, for me personally, I mean, it's different for everybody. For me, my services are really expensive, in the 4 and 5 figures. So people want to essentially make sure that I know what I'm talking about. So I'll get a lot of emails that say, hey Jeremy, I just bought X product. Didn't even go through it. I just wanted to make sure that you were the real deal and you actually did what you said you did. And that's why I'm, writing to you now, and I want to talk about hiring you. I get those emails all the time, because I'm the sales funnel guy, so people want to go through my process and say, hey, let's see if the sales funnel guy actually has his own sales funnel.
Right, if he's doing what he's preaching there, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I get a lot of those emails, and then I also get a lot of people that come in and they become clients or coaching students or whatever, and they want to essentially learn more. So these are mostly the business owners that they love to learn. They just can't get enough information. So they'll be working with me as they're going through my products.
Right, those are the best kind of clients, absolutely.
Yeah. So it's kind of both.
Nice.
Yeah. Let's see. So going back.
Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't mean to get you sidetracked there, but I thought that was important to kind of throw that out there to the audience that are trying to get some products. That's a good way to bring in business as well. So.
Yeah, definitely. I actually, for anybody that has a service business, I'm doing this Facebook campaign, and it's giving away a free report, getting them into my funnel.
Right.
And I just had somebody, I think it was yesterday, where I looked at I like to look at I have Office Autopilot, so I can see somebody, they opted in for this, and then they went to this page, then they filled out this form, and, so I can see the whole process of everything they did.
Good.
It's pretty cool. It essentially tracks all the pages, and you could see the whole process that they went through. So this person yesterday, and this happens all the time. It's just this one's just one example. They opted in. Now they're from Facebook, so they've never heard of me before. They opted into the same landing page that I've been talking about. And 3 minutes after that, they went to my services page and read my service about building sales funnels, and opted into that. So they became a coaching prospect, I guess you could say, or a client prospect. So it's pretty cool. You get that ancillary benefits of doing a lot of traffic, and you should factor that in, by the way, to when you're buying paid traffic. There's always that little side shoot. If you're selling products, there's always a certain number of people that are gonna invest in your services and other products and things like that.
Nice.
So I forget where I was going with that.
Sorry, I threw you off. Yeah, we were talking about basically with everything you're talking about. I mean, that's part of the funnel process, obviously, and I mean, is there a way, if maybe let's say someone has their autoresponder set up, someone has a product or service, is there maybe common holes that you found with clients that are maybe just leaking profits for them, or something they can do to kind of plug those holes up real quick? Or?
Yeah. So that's an interesting one. So holes in their funnels, it usually has to do with with the frequency of communication. Okay, so and what that means is essentially a lot of people, and I mean, by a lot of people, I mean probably 90+% of entrepreneurs, they're kind of afraid of communicating with their prospects. And personally, I have a hard time understanding this. It might just be for me, I kind of got my chops reading Jay Abraham and strategy preeminence, where everything's just you start the relationship by adding value. So that might be the reason for that. Everything I do, it starts with value. I don't ever expect anybody to do business with me before me providing them value first. So. But the thing with communication is people are afraid they're going to annoy their lists, and it's kind of bogus, because they wouldn't be doing business with you. They wouldn't be on your list unless they wanted to hear from you. So if you have a weight loss list, or if you're a dentist and somebody signs up for your newsletter or whatever, they did that. It's not like somebody's holding a gun to their head and made them sign up for your newsletter. They did that because they want to hear from you. They want to hear about you, about what you do, about how you can help them, about how you've helped other people, to see you demonstrate your expertise so they can make a decision whether they should go with you or with somebody else. So that's, the biggest hole, when you're actually building your funnel, make sure that you're communicating with your prospects as much as you possibly can. So that includes autoresponder sequences. It includes doing retargeting campaigns to people who saw certain pages and didn't buy what you have, and then you follow up with them with banners or Facebook ads or whatever, doing retargeting. You can do direct mail, phone calls, postcards, text messages, voicemails. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. But make sure that you are that you're communicating with them frequently, and then also along with that, getting them in as kind of risk-free as possible. So usually start with whatever your lowest price product or service is, and kind of offer them that. It gets them into the buying cycle. It gets them used to spending money with you, and then just constantly working on taking them up the ladder. So if you have let's just say right now you have a $37 product and a service that's $97 a month, just for an example. Once you start getting people that are going to that $97 a month product or service, whatever it is, you should be thinking, okay, what else how can I add more value to these people and charge a higher price? And usually that's like a done for you thing, or more of like a step-by-step process. Coaching you can do coaching in almost any business, any business that you have, or basically you want to make things faster or easier for people, and then get creative, think of new products, new services that you can charge more money for, and because there's just there's a lot of people, there's a certain percentage in every audience that will spend several times more money with you than you're currently offering them, and you want to make sure. That's a huge hole that I find in almost everybody's funnel, is they don't have enough high priced, like high ticket items, and it really makes a huge difference. I mean, if you're selling $37 products and you have a $5,000 product, I mean, you only have to sell, or let's just say for easy math, a $30 product and then a $6,000 really high ticket thing. I mean, you have to sell 200 of the $30 products for one of those $6,000 sales. So if you're selling 200 a month, you're making $6,000 a month, and then you add in a $6,000 product and you sell one of those to one out of every 200 people, you've just doubled your business. So it's really important to have those high priced, those high ticket offers in there. It really can do some pretty amazing things, to your bottom line. And a lot of times if they're services or something like that, they're higher profit too. So your profit margin, typically at least, if it's like a one-on-one coaching or something like that, your profit margin's pretty huge. Right.
Yeah, I mean, are you a big fan of like the marketing ladder, moving people up, from say the $39 ebook or product all the way up to, the done for you services and et cetera? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. I have people. I actually have tomorrow and on Friday. We're recording this on a Wednesday, so tomorrow and Thursday and Friday I have back-to-back in-person full-day consultations with a client, and it's $3,000 a day, so it's $6,000 in 2 days, and that's essentially, like, for me, an upsell from my typical monthly coaching program. It's essentially doing several months in advance, doing it in like 1 or 2 days. So then they get it's essentially a way to do everything faster for people. So it's it's very, very profitable doing that. And definitely because people, like I said, people want to spend more money with you. It's just a matter of showing them the value. And it really all comes back down to value. I could go out there and have a $100,000 coaching program, but if I can't show people that they're going to make $500,000 or $1 million, then nobody's going to buy it, So it really you have to find out how much value you can provide to people and then charge accordingly.
Right. That makes sense. And I guess, kind of what you said before, and I kind of wanted to ask you about this too. I know you've said before that there's the truth about price, maybe why, what the main reason people really buy your product or services is.
Yeah. So a lot of people think that people buy based off price, and in some cases it's true. I mean, sometimes, people literally just don't have the money to pay you.
Right.
I was talking to someone who desperately wanted to join my coaching program, but she couldn't afford it because she was kind of going month to month and she could barely even put food on the table. So I was like, listen, don't even, because she wanted to join. She's like, no, I'll sell something or whatever. And I said, listen, just, I'm not comfortable enough. Like, if this doesn't work, like you literally can't feed yourself. Like I just can't live with that. So. And I guess that's a good demonstration of of my sales funnel, selling her on my coaching program, and it's the same way with your sales funnel. You want to make sure that people understand the value that you're providing them, and it's really that's what it really comes down to. It's not in most cases, like in 90% of cases, it's not that something is too expensive. It's that they don't see that the value you're providing is more than the prices they're paying. So if
right.
If you're offering, we'll go to health, just because that's an easy and it's relatable. Say it's $97. If you don't show that the value is worth more than $97, then people aren't going to buy. Whereas if you show them that it's worth $197, $297, $997, whatever it is, then people are more likely to buy. And the higher you show that value, then the bigger gap between your price and the value, obviously with the value being higher, then the higher your sales are going to be. And that's what copywriters do is essentially bring out that value, and show the benefits and overcome the objections and that kind of stuff. And that's why copywriting is so important, because that's essentially when you really boil it down. That's what what we're doing is bringing out and showing people why they're paying X dollars, but the value is X dollars times 5 or 10 or 20 or whatever.
Yeah, I mean that's I mean like you're saying that rate, and it doesn't have to really be what you're adding to it. You just have to raise the perceived value, and that'll raise the prices. Is there maybe a tip you can give someone to maybe raise the perceived value without adding maybe more to their product or service or their widget?
Yeah, that's a good question. And first of all, before I even get into that, raising your prices is probably the best and fastest way to grow your business.
Right.
If I could, I wish I could just get paid for saying raise your price. People. Because I mean, you could go into $1 million business and say raise your price 10%, and they can increase their profit by $100,000.
Right.
But if your margins are low, the lower your margin is, your profit margin, the more you raise your price, the higher that multiple is. So I mean, I can't really do any examples off the top of my head because there's a lot of math involved, but just basically, before I get into how to raise your perceived value so you can raise prices, make it a point to do a split test and raise your prices. And if you're nervous about it, I know a lot of people are, and that it's totally fine if you've never done it before. Don't be worried about being nervous about it. Do it like 5%, or 10% or something like that. So I mean, if you think about it, if you're selling something for $897 and you go to $997, that's essentially 10% higher. People really aren't going to notice that difference. If you go from $9 and then to $990, that would be 10%. I mean, people aren't going to notice that.
Right.
And so if you want to do that, number one is you can just price test and see if people will pay a higher price. A lot of times you'll see that you can go up to 20% without changing anything about the offer, and your conversions stay the same. Sometimes, not too often, but sometimes you'll actually increase your conversions because sometimes people, if you have too much value and your price is too low, it's actually one of those scenarios where people are like, oh, well, that can't be real. There must be something about this that's just wrong.
That's a great point. That happens all the time with because kind of speaking of the marketing ladder, a lot of times with clients, what I'll do is the SEO, and from there they'll go into the marketing or the copywriting because obviously they need that afterwards, and or before or during. And a lot of clients, when I was at a lot of packages, the price, they just couldn't believe that's what I was offering. So I had a lot of skeptical people because they were coming from other companies that have ripped them off or they've had bad experiences from. So like you said, sometimes that's a great point, what you said as well. Sometimes people just don't believe it. It seems too good to be true.
Yeah. Just people are skeptical, and if something there, like you kind of have as a consumer, take your mind out of being a business owner. As a consumer, you kind of have like this natural sense of what a price should be. So you can probably look at things and just line 10 items up, and you could probably get within 20 or 30% of that actual price just by guessing at what the price would be.
Right.
So we kind of just have that internal like filter of what a price should be. So if you're out of that range, people's flags go up and they're like, wait, something's not right here. They get that gut feeling that just like something's not adding up. So that the conclusion they come to is, well, they must be lying.
Right.
So going back to the raising perceived value.
Right.
There's a lot of different ways to do it. Some of them are, number one is increase or improve your copy. So if you aren't hiring, if you're trying to do the copy yourself, hire a good copywriter. Not somebody from like Elance or anything. Not somebody for $500 for a sales letter.
Right.
I mean, unless you're just starting and you really just don't have money. It's better than nothing.
Right.
But if you have, but if you have relatively successful business, number one is hiring a copywriter, or at least learning copy yourself. If you want to learn copy yourself, then get some courses and learn how to write really good copy. Because like I said, you learn to overcome the objections, you learn to gain attention from people, you learn to develop interest and get them kind of engaged in the copy, to really showcase the benefits of your product or service. So number one is write better copy. Number two is show your personality. So that's actually one thing that most people don't really think of. But it's really, I've made a big shift in probably the last year, because I see the huge trend going towards personality and transparency. So you want to, and if you follow my emails, you'll see how personal I am. I'm always telling stories of my wife and my kids and stupid things that I'm doing. Like last weekend, I jumped in an ice pond for a polar plunge. It was for a charity. So I talked about it. One guy actually wrote back and told me I had a death wish. But it's fun, talking about that stuff, and it's just me being me. You can't be fake anymore. You have to just be whoever you are. If you're big, flamboyant, like just really off the wall character, and you're really loud and obnoxious, then just be that. If you're kind of quiet and shy and reserved, be that person. You can't really fake it anymore with social media and all that kind of stuff. So number two is be yourself. Usually that's done either through emails or videos.
Okay.
And that doesn't really, in case you're kind of wondering in your head, like, well, wait, how does that increase perceived value of your product or service? That really doesn't increase the value of the product or service. It increases the value of you and the relationship that they have with you, right? And because it all starts with the relationship. They have to trust you if you're selling something. And if they don't trust you, I mean, you could be giving away bars of gold for $1. Nobody's going to buy it because they're going to think you're lying.
Right.
So that's number two is build trust by being yourself, being personal, telling stories, and that kind of thing. Another thing you could do is add bonuses. Add whatever your product is, whatever your service. Add little extras. Little bonuses. So if you're selling an information product, you could have bonuses on like little extra videos, or how to get faster results, how to get better results, with this certain technique or whatever. And that's one that probably most people know of. Another thing, you can always make it better risk reversal. So have better guarantees. You could have longer guarantees. You could have like conditional guarantees, like a money back guarantee if they can prove that they they went through your program or did your service or whatever, and they didn't get the results, then they can double your money back guarantee, or something that takes the risk off that person and puts it on you. Another thing you can do, I'm trying to think, is establish your juxtapose. That's the word I'm looking for. Juxtapose your product or service with somebody, with like an industry leader that they already trust, so you can kind of borrow that credibility. So so for example, let's just say you have a course, and you're selling information. It really doesn't matter. It could be a service course, whatever it is. But if you somehow involve either somebody in your industry or a celebrity or somebody like that, and you kind of juxtapose, which essentially means you essentially tie it into your product, then that increases the value because you get that borrowed credibility. So those are a couple ways to help increase your perceived value. The easiest way is probably better copy, I would say.
I agree. That is. I think I always say this, but I think copy, marketing, and sales are the most important skills. And the better the marketing, the easier the sales process. And copywriting is salesmanship and print, so they all kind of tie together.
Yeah,
nice.
Absolutely.
Nice. Now, I guess, one thing I kind of want to ask you, not only to kind of provide value, for the audience, but kind of, selfishly as well, I guess I should say, because I'm coming out with a new course soon here, and this is about product launching. And is there steps maybe that you personally do when you work with clients, or maybe kind of, start off your launches on the right track? Is there something that you do or can suggest to people?
Yeah, there's, I'll let you kind of take most of the credit for the product launch stuff. I don't want to, jump on your toes too much. But I'll give one recommendation that kind of reverberates through the whole product launch sequence, and that is proof. Proof is just everything. When I was launching the funnel formula, which is my kind of flagship product that teaches how to build sales funnels. When I did that launch to my own list, and I didn't do affiliates and all that kind of stuff. That's just too annoying for me. But one of the things, I just focused on proof. Every single email that went out, every piece of communication that went out had some type, at least one piece of proof in it. Whether it was a result that I got for a client, whether it was a kind of a case study from a client, or an example of what happened when a client or me or somebody like that built a sales funnel or added a piece of the sales funnel, or telling them things they didn't know, like hey, in module 3 there's a really cool tip that lets you do XXXNX. And that's a style of proof. Everywhere from there to telling about my past results and even showing. I actually did something that I was a little bit nervous of, but I actually, during my launch, and this one really only works for selling to marketing people, but you can use it. I'll give you an example of how you can use it in another niche. What I did was, during my launch. So I did it, I can't even remember the days. It might have been from like Monday to Friday or something like that. Let's just say it was that. I forget. But throughout the week, I was telling my audience and giving them proof of how sales funnels worked based on giving them numbers of my own sales funnel and how that launch was going. So like. Oh,
nice. So play-by-play of your launch then.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
And I had screenshots, and I said, hey, look, I would have made X dollars if I didn't have the sales funnel in place, but look, I didn't actually say dollars, I just did percentage. So it was something like, I made like an extra, I think I forget what it came out to be. It might have been like 33% of my sales were from selling the main product, and then 66% of my sales came from the sales funnel, like after they bought that first product. So I said, look, I would have been leaving 66% of my money that I made on the table if I didn't have this sales funnel, So that was huge. And I actually showed even more proof. I actually showed a screenshot from inside Office Autopilot, which is my CRM, and so they could actually see like what I was talking about. So one thing that you can do, like if you're in, let's just go back to weight loss, just as easy, right? So if you say, if you're selling a weight loss course, you can say, let's just say maybe you did like a 2-week launch, and you could say, hey, somebody bought this on the first day, and 4 days later they're already down 8 pounds, and this other person, they bought it, and within 2 days they were down 5 pounds. So you can, like, throughout the launch, you can talk about results that people are getting since the launch started, results that people have gotten in the past. You can even do things like with scarcity, with deadlines and scarcity, saying like, hey, we only have 50 left. And there are 20,000 people waiting on the list, and they're waiting for the cart to open. Make sure that you get there as soon as I tell you it's open, because there's going to be 20,000 people that are trying to buy this product, and so you could do scarcity like that. And make sure you don't lie. I hate when people lie in marketing.
Well, yeah, I know that drives me nuts. Yeah, that's a good point. My last course, I did that too. It was a higher priced course, but what I did with the list that was on the list for that course is basically scarcity and social proof. Like every day I would say, and I would literally list to people. I would say, Jason from California invested today. It's Sally from, and I kind of listed the people's first name and the state they're from of who invested that day during that launch process, kind of like as social proof as well. And it seemed to, effectively work. I never really tested that, to be honest with you, against not doing that. But when I did that, it seemed the results seemed to be more dramatic than when I did launches before without doing that added factor. So that's one of those things. It's kind of like a given that it's going to do better. You don't even have to really launch it. Right.
I mean, but yeah, hopefully that helps with product launches.
Yeah, nice. That's beautiful. Yeah, just to kind of clarify, I don't know if you misunderstood me. My course coming out, it has nothing to do with product launches, but I was just launching a new course or product. So, I know definitely you work with that. So, my audience listening, at the end, we'll give out Jeremy's site too. So if you do have a product launch, you can definitely talk to Jeremy about that as well.
Okay. Sorry. I thought you were having a course about product launches.
No, this is going to be full of goodies, marketing strategies, sales, copy, good stuff. And then I guess, before we wrap it up today, because we shared a lot of good value, and definitely want to thank you for coming on. But, I know a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs listening may have, a continuity service or maybe a continuity or monthly program, or maybe they're even thinking about starting one, which can be very profitable. Can you maybe just share, a tip or two before we leave today on maybe how they can increase maybe their retention rates or really summary, just basically making their customers stick with them longer?
Yeah. So let's see. Let me throw out three different things. Number one is one of the things that I really love to do. And again, everything all goes back to value. As soon as they buy something, and this is especially true with the continuity program, but it's also true with any service, any product, is I put people into what I call a personal coach campaign. So somebody buys one of my products, and for the next roughly 30 days, it depends, but roughly 30 days, they get emails specifically based on that product. And the point of that is to get them to consume the product, not eat the product, consume it.
Right.
Through it. Although I guess it could be to eat the product, if you're selling some kind of food.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. So that's it, kind of motivating them at the same time, you're there for them, right? Supporting them.
Yeah. So there's a couple of things that it does. It establishes your relationship with them, so you already have a relationship because they trust you enough to buy the product. But a lot of people have buyer's remorse, and they're kind of like, they buy it and they're like, oh God, I shouldn't have bought it. Now I'm gonna have to return this and blah blah blah. And they think that a lot of business owners don't care. They're just in it for the sale. So if you have a full 30 days of emails, or could be a mix of emails, videos, whatever you want to do with the the media. It really shows people that you care about them, and you should care about them, regardless if it increases retention rates or anything like that. You should do this anyway because you care about your customers. But the kind of the side benefit is that it increases retention rates, it reduces refunds, that kind of thing, because it establishes and builds that relationship, and it all comes down to value and relationship. That's one thing that everything revolves around that. So that's one thing, is have a personal coach campaign, and just, it's just easy. Like they could be quick. Just to say, like, hey, I really appreciate that you bought it. I want you to know that I'm here for you. I actually care about you and hope that you get the results that you're looking for. And it's not just like, oh, hey, thanks for your money, see ya, and you never talk to them again, which is what most people do. I mean, it's rare that I get emails. I think maybe out of all the products I've ever bought in my entire life, I could probably count on one hand how many campaigns like that I've ever gotten. So you stick out like crazy if you do that. Number two is, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I just said that's great. That's fantastic, because I haven't seen, like you said, I've really never seen, and I can't think of any product or service that I bought where there's been like an ongoing campaign like that.
Yeah, and for some people it's that they really don't care. They just want your money. And then for others they just haven't thought of it yet.
Right.
But so the second thing is send out some type of, again, it could really be anything. It could be an email. It could be like a salesman calling them, or a customer support kind of person. It could be a postcard, direct mail letter, a voicemail, text message, whatever it is, whatever like kind of media you want to use. But essentially do like a stick letter. It's called in direct mail. They do stick letters, and that is essentially. It's kind of close to the personal coach campaign, but it's just like one piece, where you just essentially thank them for the order. If there's like any, membership details, you can put that in there, and just, reassure them that it was a good purchase, that they're going to get value out of it. Maybe add a little tip in there, here or there, to help them get more value out of whatever they just bought, and then sell them another product.
Absolutely. That's the fastest way to get your back end going.
Yeah, and the product should be like, if you're selling a supplement for, let's just go back to weight loss again. If you're selling a supplement for weight loss, you can't sell them a supplement for like, getting rid of toe fungus or something like that, because there's no congruency there. So it has to be, whatever it is, it has to be really congruent, and really make sense to essentially add more value, to take whatever results they're going to get and take them to a new level, So that's the second one, is send a stick letter. The third one, let's see, I just had it in my mind. So the first one is the personal coach campaign. Second one is a stick letter. Third one, actually, another thing you can do for retention rates is get people, and this is kind of like a mental type of thing, but get people to give you a testimonial. And this is, you may not have really heard this before, I'm not sure, but essentially, if you can get somebody to give you a testimonial and cement that idea in their mind that they love this product, it's helping them, blah blah blah. I mean, who do you know that's going to give somebody a testimonial and then ask for a refund? You know what I mean?
Right.
So if you can do a campaign, and you can do this in your personal coaching campaign, if you do a campaign and get them to commit to doing business with you, and to admit that you're helping them and you're doing a good job for them, they're probably not going to ask for a refund, and they're going to stay with you longer.
Right.
So that's also, and then and I guess a fourth bonus thing that kind of goes in with the stick letter is keep selling them additional products. Keep selling them additional services, because as they go more down the rabbit hole with you, they're going to get more attached to doing business with you. So the more they spend with you, the less likely they are to ever leave you, because you're now like their knight in shining armor that's helping them fix whatever problem they're trying to solve.
Fantastic. Absolutely. That's great. I mean, this has been awesome, Jeremy. I definitely want to thank you. You've shared a lot of fantastic value, great value shared here. I want to thank you definitely for coming on in, the 10th episode here of the Fast, Easy Success Marketing Insider. And before everyone goes out and dives in on all the tips and takes action on everything we talked about, can you tell, the listeners where they can learn more about you or check you out?
Yeah. So two things, pretty easy. So my name is Jeremy Reeves, and I'll tell you why I'm saying this in a sec. You spell it, it's JeremyReeves, And the reason that I'm spelling it out is because the number one thing that I would recommend is just going to my website, jeremyreeves.com. And on there you can kind of see whatever you want. I have free stuff on there. There's usually there should be a pop-up that comes up and gives you a free report. Up in the navigation bar, there's a resources section that says free on it. So there's different things that you can opt into and get a whole bunch of free stuff, interviews and reports and videos and all kinds of stuff. The other thing is I have my own podcast. It's called Sales Funnel Mastery. So just go into iTunes or whatever you listen to and do a search for that. And you can follow me on my podcast. I do a lot of short interviews or short sessions where I usually cover like a single topic in 5, 10, 15 minutes, something like that. Little tidbits of strategy and stuff like that. So those are the two things. JeremyReeves.com for my website. If you want to look at any of the products I have, the free stuff, services, whatever's right for you, or check out Sales Funnel Mastery. That's my podcast.
Nice. Yeah, I was telling Jeremy, too, before the show, everybody, I checked out his podcast yesterday. I definitely recommend everybody as well check out there, and definitely his site. And definitely you get some good value, and definitely recommend it. It's definitely worth it. And Jeremy, again, wow, I mean, it's been an absolute pleasure with you, and I want to say thank you again, for taking the time and sharing everything with the listeners. And all you listeners out there, I definitely hope you enjoyed the show, and most importantly, take action on everything Jeremy and I talked about today. And before we go real quick, if you guys can all do me 2 quick favors, I'd really appreciate it. Just simply hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on the future business boosting podcast. And if you stuck around this far, you obviously enjoyed the show and saw all the value shared. So just make sure to leave those reviews and comments there. I need your help getting noticed, get all the value out to more people. And really appreciate you tuning in to the show today and leaving those reviews currently. So when you're done, go ahead and grab your business cheat sheets over at FastEasySuccess.com, like we said, and definitely check out Jeremy's sites as well. And all you newsletters listeners as well, I'll send links to Jeremy's sites as well and his podcast, so you can check that out. Again, I'm your host, Eric Barton, the Results Specialist, signing out today. And we'll see you next week for another Fast, Easy Success Marketing Insider. And here's to your success.